Let your body settle and let your mind grow slow. There is no task before you now, nothing to finish, nothing to begin. Tonight you walk into a small village from a gentler age, where the hedgerows are heavy with the scent of evening, and the cottages glow softly from within. The light is fading kindly. The day's work is laid aside. Feel your breath deepen. Feel your limbs grow heavy and warm. As the village quiets around you, let your thoughts quiet too, drifting away like petals on the slow water of the brook, leaving only stillness and warmth and the nearness of sleep. Out among the autumn fields, a single oak stands alone, its great crown turned to deep gold and bronze, glowing against the lowering sun. You walk slowly across the cropped meadow toward it. Beneath the tree, the fallen leaves lie thick and rustling, and acorns are scattered in the grass. You rest your back against the broad, rough trunk and look up through the gilded canopy, where the last light filters down in soft and shifting gold. A squirrel pauses on a branch, then continues its unhurried gathering. The air is mild and still, and smells of leaf mold and warm earth. You sit beneath the ancient oak as the long shadows stretch across the meadow, wrapped in the deep and gentle calm of the fading day. You sit on the worn stone steps of the old mill, where the slow river turns the great wheel impatient. Water spills over the wooden paddles with a soft, steady murmur, catching the afternoon light in little sheets of gold before falling back. The air is cool by the river, yet warm where the sun reaches, and you rest in the meeting of the two. Moss grows green and soft along the mill's lower stones. A dragonfly hovers, then drifts away over the bright water. The wheel keeps turning, slow and certain, and the sound of it is like a quiet heartbeat. You let your eyes follow the falling water and feel yourself growing peaceful with its endless, gentle motion. The shepherd's path winds up over the open down, and you follow it slowly in the deepening spring dusk, the turf springy and cool beneath your feet. Far below, the village lies cupped in its green valley. its rooftops blue with evening. Rising straight into the still air. Lilacs that sang all day have come down to their nests in the grass, and the great sky is quiet now. The first stars prick faintly through the fading blue. A sheepfold of old grey stone stands empty on the slope, holding a last of the warmth. There's an immense and gentle peace up here on the high ground at evening. The land breathing slow beneath the coming dark. Eyes the while and let it settle deep within you, Conda. The orchard lies quiet in the morning mist. The apple trees standing in soft grey rows, with their branches still heavy and dark. You walk slowly through the wet grass, brushing past low boughs that shed cool drops onto your sleeves. Fallen apples lie scattered in the dew, and the air is sweet with their faint cider smell. A blackbird hops among the windfalls, then stills. The sun is only a paler patch behind the haze, and the whole orchard feels hushed and dim. You lean against the rough bark of an old tree and look up through the wet leaves at the soft sky. There is no task here, no hurry. You simply breathe the sweet, cool air and let the orchard hold you in its gentle stillness. The village inn glows softly at the end of the lane, warm light spilling from its small windows onto the worn cobbles outside. You do not go in, but stand a while in the mild spring dusk, watching the comfortable amber glow and the slow drift of wood smoke from its chimney. Honeysuckle climbs the porch, its first sweet scent just opening with the cool of evening. A horse waits patient and drowsy at the rail, head low, one hoof resting. The day's last light fades from the thatch above. There is a deep, homely peace in the sight of the lit windows in the gathering dark, the sense of a warm and gentle place at rest, and it eases something quiet within you as the evening softly closes. The lane to the church lies still and grey beneath the great old yew trees. You walk it slowly as the dawn comes on, your footsteps soft on the dewy grass that edges the worn path. The little stone church stands quiet, its tower dark against the paling sky, its windows holding only the faint reflection of the morning. A blackbird sings one low, liquid phrase from somewhere in the yew. Fall silent. The air is cool and smells faintly of moss and old stone. Dew hangs thick on the long grass between the leaning headstones. You pause beneath the spreading branches, breathing the deep quiet of the place, and feel the slow peace of the hours settle gently into your bones. The kitchen hearth glows low as the household sleeps, and you sit alone in its warmth, the last one awake. A pot of broth simmers faintly at the edge of the embers, its gentle scent filling the room. Outside, the deep cold has fastened its grip. Frost climbs the window panes, and the wind has long since died to stillness. The settle is worn smooth, and you rest against it, watching the embers pulse soft and red. A floorboard creaks somewhere above as a sleep returns. The cat blinks slowly at you from the hearthstone, then closes its eyes again. You feel the deep quiet of the late hour, the warmth of the fire on your face, and let your own eyes grow heavy in the gentle, dim. The little village school stands quiet now, its lessons long finished, and you pause by its low wall in the golden light. The windows catch the lowering sun and glow warmly. And the small yard lies empty and peaceful, its worn flagstones holding the day's heat. A climbing rose spills over the porch, its petals soft and bright in the slanting beams. Sparrows hop along the wall top, chirping their small contented sounds. The whole place rests end of day stillness. You lean a moment on the warm wall, looking at the quiet yard and the glowing windows, and feel the gentle peace of a familiar place at rest, with all its small busyness gently folded away for the day. The shepherd's path climbs into a meadow where the fog lies in pockets, thicker in the hollows and thinner over the rises. two oat waves, so the land seems to breathe in slow, soft waves. Sheep drift through it like quiet clouds of their own, cropping the wet grass, their bells giving only the faintest muffled note. You sit on a flat, warm stone that the early light has not yet reached and watch the mist move without wind. Folding and unfolding around the hawthorn trees. A spider's web strung between two stems holds 100 small gray pearls. There is no rush in any of it. The whole hillside seems to be resting with you, half asleep, content to let the morning arrive whenever it chooses. The blacksmith's pond behind the forge is fed by a small spring, and this morning the mist sits on it so thickly that the water and the air seem to merge into one soft gray. You stand at the mossy edge, where ferns grow lush and dripping, and watch the slow movement of the fog across the surface. A frog plops gently from a stone and is gone, leaving only widening rings. The old willow hangs low, its leaves trailing in the water, stirring nothing. Behind you, the forge is cold and quiet, its doors shut. The cool air smells of water and green and damp iron. There is nothing here but stillness, soft and gray and kind. You breathe it slowly in, and the quiet of the little pond settles deep and easy within you. Beneath the eaves of the inn, the night has grown soft and complete. The last lamp inside snuffed out hours ago. The wooden sign hangs motionless above the door, its painted face dim and friendly in the dark. Inside, the long benches stand empty. The great hearth holds a faint warmth still seeping from gray embers. The air carries the worn-in smells of wood smoke and old timber and the ghost of bread. Outside, the cobbled yard is silent. With silent, the stable doors closed within. A single star hangs above the chimney. eyes. You stand in the quiet courtyard, and the whole place feels gently shut for the night, holding its rest close, in no hurry for the dawn. In the shade of the village inn's courtyard, where the late sun slips over the low roof in a warm wash, ivy climbs the old stone walls, its leaves trembling faintly, glowing where the light touches them. A few sparrows hop across the cobbles, pecking at crumbs, unbothered by your stillness. The air is warm and carries a faint, pleasant smell of wood smoke and bread. From somewhere within comes the soft clink of crockery being put gently away. You rest your hands around a cooling cup and watch the light climb slowly up the courtyard wall as the afternoon lengthens. The place is sheltered and easy and kind. Out in the hay meadow, the spring grass stands tall and full of flowers, and you walk a narrow path through it in the soft evening light. The seed heads brushing cool against your hands. Buttercups and clover and ragged moon daisies sway in the gentlest of airs, and the whole meadow breathes out a green and honeyed sweetness. A barn owl floats pale and silent along the hedge at the meadow's edge, hunting without hurry. The sky deepens from gold to dusky rose above the distant trees. Somewhere a corncrake rasps its quiet note among the grass. There is no fence to cross, no task to finish, only the wide, soft meadow and the slow descent of the spring dusk, and you let it carry you gently towards stillness. You walk through the village in the last warm hour, past garden gates and low stone walls glowing in the slanting sun. Late roses climb here and there, their petals soft and bright, and the air carries the mingled scents of flowers and warm stone and distant cut hay. A few people move slowly about their evening tasks. A dog trots past with an easy, contented gait. The lane is dappled with light and shadow where trees lean over the walls. You stroll without aim, letting your eyes rest on each small glowing thing in turn, and feel the gentle rhythm of the village settling toward evening carry you softly along, your own pace slowing to match its deep and easy peace. Meadow lies flooded in gray. The slow river having spread out gently across the grass in the night. And now the mist sits low upon it, so that water and fog are one soft sheet. You walk the raised path along the edge, dry beneath your feet, and watch a heron stand motionless far out in the shallows, a pale gray shape against the gray. Reeds rise here and there from the flood, dark and still. A single swan drifts somewhere in the mist, half seen. The cool air smells of water and wet grass. There is a deep, wide stillness over the whole meadow, calm and gray and endless, asking nothing. You stand and breathe it in. Spreading and slowing like the gentle flood, and feel a quiet peace settle softly through you. The dirt track out to the fields is pale in the starlight, and you follow it slowly past the last of the cottages, your steps unhurried and soft. On either side the wheat stands tall and still, a faint silver sheen along its bending heads, whispering only when the gentlest air moves through. Above it, all the sky is enormous, a deep velvet crowded with stars from one dark hedge to the other. You stop where the track meets a wooden stile and lean against it. The night smells of warm grain and cooling earth. Nothing hurries here. You stand in the soft hush between the quiet village and the shining sky, and a calm settles through you, gentle and complete. At the far end of the village lies a small orchard, its bare apple trees standing in neat rows beneath the falling snow. The branches are dark and patient, and the white gathers along each one, tracing every twig in soft outline. You walk between the trees, and the snow muffles every step until the silence feels almost like a held breath. The low stone wall runs along the orchard's edge. You rest against it and look back toward the village, where the cottage lights glow small and golden in the distance. The snow keeps coming, unhurried, settling on your sleeves and in your hair, and the whole orchard seems to be drifting gently off to sleep around you. From the little church on the hill, begins to ring, slow and clear across the valley. It marks the evening hour, as it has for hundreds of years, calling the day gently to its close. The sound drifts out over the rooftops and the fields and fades slowly into the dusk. And one by one, the lamps are lit in the cottage windows, small and warm against the gathering dark. From the bench outside the village bakery, you rest in the warm evening and breathe the scent of bread that still lingers in the cooling air. The shop is shut and dark now, its work long done. But the stones of the wall behind you are warm from the day and from the ovens within. The lane is empty and dim. A few crumbs left on the sill draw a single sparrow, hopping and unhurried. Above the rooftops, the sky deepens toward night. Somewhere down the lane, a door closes softly, and a lamp is lit behind a window. You sit with the warm wall at your back, and the smell of bread all around you, and feel the gentle, ordinary peace of the sleeping village. The cottage doorway frames the slow arrival of the dawn. You sit upon the cool stone step, wrapped warm against the morning chill, and watch the light come gradually up over the garden wall. The climbing rose beside the door hangs heavy with dew, each pale bloom holding a single bright drop. The air is cool and faintly sweet, and the only sound is the soft drip of moisture from the eaves. Across the lane, the neighboring cottages keep their shutters closed. You cradle your stillness like something precious, watching the gray soften slowly into gold, and feel the deep contentment of an unhurried morning settle gently over you. The small wooden chest sits at the foot of the bed, its lid scuffed soft. You run your hand across the worn wood and feel the smooth grain, the rounded edges, the faint dents where it has been bumped and carried over the years. The clasp is loose, no longer catching, and a faded initial is carved small in one corner. The chest smells faintly of cedar and old cloth when you lift the lid a finger's width. Inside, soft shadows hold folded things long undisturbed. There is nothing to pack tonight, nothing to find. The chest simply rests at the foot of the bed, holding its quiet contents, keeping its patient watch while the dim room grows still and the evening settles softly over all. The path through the spinney is soft with fallen leaves, and the mist drifts between the slender trunks so that the wood seems to go on gray and endless in every direction. You walk slowly, your steps muffled. The trees drip quietly overhead. The gentle, irregular patter that is almost like breathing. Pheasant stirs somewhere in the bracken. Then settles back to stillness. Pale fungi grow in soft shelves on a fallen log, beaded with damp. The light is dim and even in kind, with no shadows anywhere. There is a deep hush among the trees that asks nothing of you, only that you slow your steps and your thoughts to match it. You breathe the cool leaf-scented air, and the quiet gray wood holds you gently as you wander, unhurried and at ease. Up the lane, the old inn sits with its windows dark, but a single oil lamp glows in the porch, casting a warm pool upon the worn doorstep. Which sways not at all in the windless night, its painted face soft and faded under the moon. Weit, the whitewashed walls of the inn glow pale and luminous, and the small leaded panes catch the moonlight in a dozen tiny squares. From within comes no sound at all. The last guests have long since climbed the creaking stairs to bed. The cobbles before the door are smooth and bright. A black cat sits washing itself upon a low wall, unhurried, then curls into a contented ball. The night holds everything in a deep and gentle hush, and you breathe it in. Along the dry stone wall that climbs the hillside above the village, a stone chat has tucked itself into a crevice for the night. By day it perches bold atop the gorse, flicking its tail. But now it has crept into a sheltered gap between the cool gray stones, feathers fluffed into a small round shape. The hill lies dark and silent, the gorse motionless in the windless air. The day's tapping little call has ceased. You can picture the stone chat settled deep in its stony niche, eyes closed, breathing soft and slow. Warm against the rock that still holds the day's faint heat. The stars wheel slowly over the quiet hill, and the little bird rests within the old wall, safe and still. In the warm dark of the kitchen, by the dying fire, a small round shape of perfect contentment. Its breathing is slow and even, and now and then a faint purr rises and fades as it dreams. The last embers glow dim orange beneath their ash, casting just enough light to gild the curve of its back. The room is warm and still and smells of wood smoke. Outside, the night holds the village in darkness. But in here, all is soft and gathered and at ease. The cat shifts once, tucks its nose deeper beneath its tail, and settles again. You watch the gentle rise and fall of its sleeping side, and its complete and easy rest seems to invite you, softly, to do the very same. On the windowsill, saucer holds 3 smooth river stones, gray and rounded. Walk by the water. You pick one up and turn it in your fingers, feeling it's cool. Wait, the satin smoothness worn by years of patient current. A faint pale band runs through one like a thread of milk. They click softly together when you set the stone back among its fellows. They serve no purpose, hold nothing, mean only the quiet afternoon they were found on. The dim light rounds their edges gently. There is nothing to do but rest your eyes on their small, calm shapes, 3 smooth stones in a saucer, while the evening settles soft and gray across the sill. Up on the green hill above the village, you sit in the long evening grass and look down at the small huddle of rooftops far below, softened now by the blue haze of dusk. Sheep graze nearby on the slope, their slow tearing of the grass a quiet, steady sound. The air is mild and smells of clover and warm earth. Below, a single lamp shows in a cottage window, then another, tiny and golden. The white sky deepens overhead, and a curlew calls once, far off. Whence there's no hurry in any of it. You sit and watch the gentle dark gather slowly over the valley. Can the great soft peace come settling over you too? The old inn glows warm at the corner of the lane, its small windows amber against the deepening blue. You stand across the way in the cool of the evening and watch the soft light spill out over the cobbles. From within comes a low and gentle murmur, the easy sound of folk at rest after their work. A lantern sways above the door, casting a slow circle of gold. The smell of wood smoke and warm ale drifts out into the dusk. You feel no need to go in, only to stand a while in the quiet street and watch the lights, while the sky darkens softly above the thatch and the night settles down kind and unhurried over the sleeping village. picture a cottage kitchen in the soft light of a single oil lamp, where the deep stillness has settled over the evening's last small tasks. A faint breeze comes through the open window above the stone sink, cool and clean, stirring the dried flowers hung from the beam into a slow, gentle sway. A bowl of plums sits on the table, dark and sweet smelling. The lamp throws a warm circle of light, and beyond it the room fades into soft, comfortable shadow. Outside, the village lies quiet under the dark. You sit at the scrub table with your hands folded, watching the lamplight waver as the breeze moves through, and the gentle wind and the warm small light and the deep quiet draw a soft heaviness over your eyes. The cart track to the farm is rutted and soft with last night's dew, and the fog lies so thick in the dip that you walk into a pale gray hush and out the other side. The hawthorn hedge drips steadily, and a gatepost wears a cap of green moss damp enough to ring. You hear the slow creak of a barn door somewhere ahead, opening and not closing, and the gentle shuffle of animals being let out to graze. A goose appears from the mist, regards you placidly, and waddles on. The whole farmyard beyond is wrapped in soft gray. Its edges erased, its sounds rounded and far. You walk on without hurry, breathing the cool, damp air. A lamplighter's ladder leans forgotten against a wall in a narrow lane, and snow gathers along its rungs and on the iron bracket of the old street lamp above. The lamp itself burns with a small steady flame behind its glass, casting a soft golden pool onto the white cobbles below. You walk slowly into that warm circle of light and stop, watching the flakes drift down through it, glowing for a moment before they settle into the dark beyond. The houses on either side are quiet. No one stirs. The cold is gentle, and the air is still. You stand within the lamp's warm glow a while, comforted by its small, constant flame, then step on into the soft blue dark, the snow falling all around. At the very edge of the village, where the lane gives way to open country, an old wooden gate leads into a wide moonlit pasture, and you rest there now with your arms upon the smooth top bar. Before you the land falls gently away, silvered and still. The long grass shining, trees and far woods drawn faintly in the pale light. The moon rides high and round and clear, and the whole sleeping country lies open beneath it. Behind you the village settles into its rest, its roofs pale, its lanes quiet. The night air is mild and clean, and smells of grass and cool earth. Somewhere far off, a sheep stirs and is still. You lean upon the old gate and gaze across the peaceful land, in no hurry to go anywhere at all. And a deep and gentle calm fills you to the brim. From your small bedroom under the eaves, you listen to the rain move across the village rooftops one by one. It begins faint and far over the church tower, then comes nearer, brushing the chapel, the school of cottages. Fists settle the crom trashings. The window is open just a crack, and the cool damp air slips in, carrying the smell of wet thatch and garden soil. Your candle has guttered to a low glow. You pull the blanket to your chin and follow the sound of the rain spreading out over the sleeping houses. And gentle hushed comes a kind of dream, and your eyes fall closed. You walk the narrow towpath beside the still canal at the village edge, the water lying dark and motionless as a sheet of black glass. Not a breath of wind disturbs it, so that every star above is mirrored faithfully below. a second sky resting quietly at your feet. The path is soft and even, and you stroll it without hurry, looking now up, now down at the doubled glitter. Reeds stand dark and silent along the bank. The night is mild and smells faintly of water and grass. The village sleeps beyond a row of dark trees. You feel a deep and gentle calm walking here between the two starry skies, your thoughts slowing to the stillness of the water, until it seems the whole quiet world is holding its breath softly around you, just for rest. The dirt road out of the village winds between low hedgerows still heavy with dew. The gnome miner follows still heavy with dew. Even the dust lies undisturbed. You walk without aim, hands loose at your sides, watching the hedges drip and the spiderwebs hang strung with tiny pearls of water. A faint mist clings to the furrowed fields on either side. Somewhere, a dog stretches and yawns in a distant yard. Then settles again. The light is gray and gentle, with only the palest hint of gold at the edge of the sky. A snail makes its slow, glistening way across the path ahead, and you step around it without thinking. The whole world feels unhurried, and you let yourself move just as slowly. The dovecote stands round and white in the rainy dusk, its little arched openings dark, the doves murmuring softly within. You shelter nearby beneath the garden wall, listening to their gentle cooing mingle with the steady fall of rain on the conical roof. Now and then, a bird shifts on its ledge, ruffles, settles again. The rain comes down fine and even over the kitchen garden, beating the cabbage leaves, darkening the soil, running quietly down the path. The cottage beyond glows warm in the gray evening. The smell of wet earth and the soft sound of the doves and the rain together. Poethash, the smell of wet earth and the soft sound of the doves wine together make a deep and soothing music. You stand quite still, breathing slow, and feel the cares of the day dissolve gently into the cool and murmuring dark. The old orchard's beehives stand in a tidy row at the garden's edge, their straw skeps glowing warm in the low amber light. You sit on a wooden bench a little way off and watch the bees returning home, drifting in slow heavy spirals to the hives. The hum is low and drowsy in content, a sound that seems to soften the very air. Late clover blooms in the grass at your feet. The scent of warm wax and distant honey drifts faintly on the breeze. As the sun sinks lower, the bees grow fewer, slipping one by one into the dim hives for the night. A deep, gentle quiet settles over the row of skeps, and you sit on in the fading gold, calmed by the slow rhythms of the garden's drowsing day. In the cool cellar beneath the old house, you sit among the rows of stored apples and the dim glow of a single candle, the day's heat left far above. The stone walls are thick and silent, holding a deep and ancient quiet. The sweet smell of the apples fills the close air, and a few onions hang in plaited ropes from the low beams. You have come down here to rest in the cool dark, as you often do on warm evenings. You remember the autumn work of laying in the store, the patient, careful rows. The memory is a gentle one. The candle flame stands tall and unmoving in the still air. You sit on an old crate and let the deep quiet of the cellar settle around you. In the cottage parlor, the fire has burned low to a bed of glowing embers, and you sit in a deep old armchair as the last daylight fades from the window. The room is dim and warm, the firelight casting soft moving shadows on the whitewashed walls. A clock ticks slowly on the mantel, unhurried and steady. A cat sleeps curled on the hearthrug, rising and falling with each slow breath. The smell of wood smoke and beeswax lingers gently in the still air. Outside, but within the blue dusk, but within the parlor all is soft amber light and quiet comfort. You sink a little deeper into the worn cushions, your eyes growing heavy, and let the warm and drowsy peace of the firelit room gather you slowly towards sleep. The lane behind the church leads to a small walled garden where the parson keeps his bees and his herbs, and tonight the moon shines down into it like light into a cupped hand. You step through the wooden gate and walk the narrow brick path between the beds of rosemary and thyme and sage, each one glowing soft and gray, each releasing its warm scent into the cool air as you brush it. The straw beehives stand in a quiet row against the south wall, their occupants long asleep. A stone bench, green with age, sits beneath an old pear tree. Moonlight pools upon the brick path and silvers the worn wall. The night is hushed and fragrant and deeply peaceful. You sit upon the cool stone bench and breathe the sweet herbal air, and you feel your thoughts grow slow and soft. By the window of the weaver's cottage, the loom stands quiet. Its threads still and pale in the dim light. You sit nearby beneath a woolen blanket, the spinning wheel resting in the corner. A low fire burns in the grate, just enough to keep the deep cold at bay. Skeins of yarn hang on the wall in soft muted colors, swaying just slightly in the warmth rising from the hearth. Outside, the lane is silent under its white burden. You draw the blanket closer and let your gaze rest on the falling snow. Your thoughts slowing with the steady drift of it. The winter night gentle and unhurried all around. Before the village wakes, the lane lies under a soft gray light, and the cobblestones hold the cool of the night still. You walk slowly past shuttered windows, your footsteps muffled by a thin mist that drifts low along the gutters. A single rooster clears its throat somewhere far off, half-hearted, in no hurry. Dew gathers on the iron gate latches and beads along the tops of low stone walls. The bakery chimney has only just begun to thread a faint ribbon of smoke into the pale sky. Nothing here asks anything of you. You simply move through the hush, breathing the clean morning air, letting your shoulders soften as the village dreams a little longer beneath its blankets of fog. The hump-backed stone bridge arches into fog at both ends, so it seems to begin and end in nothing but pale gray air. Below it, you lean on the parapet, the stone cool and a little rough under your hands, and watch a single leaf turn slowly in an eddy round and round, never quite carried away. The trees on the bank are soft smudges of darker gray. Somewhere far off a cockerel calls once, muffled and faint, and then lets the silence return. You feel wonderfully unhurried here, suspended between two unseen shores, while the gentle water slips past beneath you and the fog folds quietly around the bridge. The kitchen of the old cottage is warm and still, lit only by the low flame of a single candle on the scrubbed table. You sit there alone with your hands folded, the day's bread cooling on its board, the kettle long since gone quiet on the hearth. Beyond the small window, the village is dark, every door closed, every lamp dimmed. You like this hour of perfect peace, when there is nothing to tend and nowhere to be. The candle's flame stands tall and steady in the windless room. You remember evenings like this, stretching back through the years, the same table, the same. A faint warmth lingers in the air from the day's baking, and your mind drifts easily toward sleep. You walk a dirt lane lined with elder bushes at the very edge of the village, where the deep stillness of the night has stretched out over the fields beyond. A faint breeze comes across the open land, cool and grassy, carrying the heavy sweet smell of elderflower in the dark. The bushes nod their pale blossoms gently, then go still. A few late fireflies drift low over the verge, Why? His blinking slowly on and off. The lane is soft underfoot, packed earth gone cool with the evening. You move along it without hurry, breathing the perfumed air, watching the little lights, and the whole world seems to slow to the pace of your quiet steps and the gentle wandering wind. The lane home runs between two hedgerows heavy with the smell of dog rose and elder. You walk without hurry, the dust soft beneath your boots, your shadow grown impossibly long ahead of you. Bats have begun their first quiet sweeps over the field beyond the hedge, stitching the dimming air. Sings from somewhere within the green its song unhurried and clear, the last of the day's music. The first faint star pricks through the violet overhead. The warm earth gives up its day's heat in a gentle exhalation, and the evening wraps around you like a soft, worn shawl. Do you feel content to simply keep walking into the dusk? The lane to the church passes beneath an avenue of limes, and you walk it in the warm dusk through their heavy honey scent. The flowers above hum faintly with the last bees of the day. A soft, drowsy sound. The light comes down green and dim through the leaves, even now at evening. The ground is dappled with the day's last warmth. Ahead, the squat gray tower of the church rises against the sky, going slowly violet. A wood pigeon coos its low 5 notes from somewhere high in the limes, then settles. You move slowly through the sweet-smelling shade, feeling the warm, still air on your face. You move slowly through the sweet-smelling shade, inward the quiet of the night. You climb the gentle slope of the meadow at the edge of the village, the long grass brushing cool against your hands as you go. At the top you find the old hayrick still standing, and you settle against the dry, fragrant bundle of cut grass, sinking comfortably in. From here, the whole valley lies below you, The dark cottages, the pale ribbon of the lane, wise. The stars stretch from horizon to horizon, soft and uncountable. The night so still you can almost feel it breathing. The hay smells warm and golden even in the dark. You lean back, looking up, and the long day loosens its hold on you, slipping away into the calm and shining dark above. The fishmonger's pond, where carp swim in summer, which to Mandard, a foot of the garden. You stand at its edge in the snowy dusk and see the ice gleam faintly, dusted here and there with powder blown into soft curves. Far beneath the frozen surface, the fish lie slow and dreaming in the cold, dark water, waiting out the long freeze. Reeds stand stiff and silvered around the rim, and a low stone bench wears a smooth white cushion of snow. The deep cold holds the whole scene in stillness. You breathe the frosted air slowly and watch the last grey light fade from the ice, feeling the quiet patience of the sleeping pond settle softly into the gathering night. Down by the mill pond, perfectly still, holding the moon whole and unbroken upon its surface, you sit on the worn plank of the old footbridge and let your gaze settle there, on that round white reflection trembling only when a moth touches the water. The great wheel of the mill is quiet now, its paddles dripping slow and even. Reeds stand black at the water's edge, motionless in the windless night. Beyond them, the meadow rolls away, frosted faintly silver. You can hear the small, patient sound of water seeping past the sluice gate. The night is wide and calm and asks nothing of you. You let your shoulders soften and you stay. Beside the slow river at the village edge, you lie back in the soft grass and watch the sky go from rose to deep blue above the willows. The water moves quietly past, hardly more than a whisper, carrying the cool smell of reeds and mud. You have come here alone, as you have so many evenings, to let the day fall away. Frog begins its low chorus, somewhere among the rushes, easy and unhurried. You remember summers of your childhood spent on this very bank. The same willows trailing their leaves. The memory warms you without any sting. One by one, the stars come out and lay their faint light on the river, and you feel yourself growing wonderfully drowsy and calm. Across the lane, the windows of the old inn glow warm and amber. Inside, a low fire burns. Sit quietly over their supper, speaking softly, in no hurry to move on. The innkeeper moves slowly between the tables. There is a deep and easy comfort in the room, the comfort of a warm place at the end of a long road. You walk along the dusty road where old elms line the way, their high branches meeting overhead to form a long, leafy tunnel. The afternoon sun pierces through in shifting shafts of gold, dappling the road and warming your shoulders as you pass beneath. The leaves rustle far above, a soft, endless sound like distant water. Horse and cart have passed this way and gone, leaving only quiet and the faint warm smell of the road. Birds flit between the high branches, calling softly. You move at the slowest, easiest pace, watching the patterns of light slide over the ground before you. The avenue of trees feels old and gentle and protective, and you breathe deeply, feeling the long peace of the country road carry you onward. The village well stands in a small paved yard between the houses. Its stone rim worn smooth by countless hands in ropes. Tonight, One night the moon hangs directly overhead, and when you lean and look down into the dark shaft, you see its small bright reflection floating far below upon the still black water. The oaken bucket rests upon the rim, beaded with the evening's dew. The iron windlass is quiet, its handle cool to the touch. Around the yard, the houses lean close together, their walls pale in the moonlight, their windows shuttered and calm. A climbing rose spills over one wall, its blooms ghost gray and sweet-scented in the night air. You rest your hands upon the cool stone of the well, and feel how long this quiet place has stood. And you breathe slowly. The garden bench beneath the old pear tree is wet with dew, but you spread a folded cloth and sit there anyway. Cobwebs strung between the flower stems hang heavy, with tiny beads of water glinting faintly. A snail makes its slow way along the path's edge. The pear tree above you drips gently now and then. The air is cool and green and smells of damp soil. The village beyond the wall is quiet, the chimneys only beginning to smoke. You sit with your hands folded, watching the slow morning brighten over the dewy garden, and feel a deep and easy calm settle gently through you. A wicker basket of apples sits by the back door, the fruit dull-skinned and fragrant in the cool dark. You lift one and turn it slowly, feeling the faint waxy give of its skin. Bruise soft beneath your thumb. The smell rises sweet and a little earthy, mingling with the dry, woody scent of the basket itself. Some apples are speckled, some streaked with deep red, none of them perfect, all of them calm. A few dry leaves still cling to a stem or two. You set the apple back among the others with a soft, hollow knock. There is no peeling to be done, no pie to make tonight. The basket simply holds its quiet harvest while the cool air drifts gently through the door. The lane down to the river passes an old watermill, and tonight its great wheel hangs motionless above the dark pool, every paddle dripping slow, and even into the still water below. You stand on the bank beneath the silent mill and watch the moonlight gather on the smooth mill pond, broken only where the slow drips touch it. The mill itself is dark and quiet, its stones at rest, the day's grinding long done. Ferns and mosses grow thick upon the damp stone of the race, gleaming faintly silver. The air is cool and smells of water and wet stone and old timber. A moorhen paddles quietly across the pool and disappears among the reeds. The night holds the mill in a deep and patient hush. You breathe the cool damp air and feel the gentle stillness of the resting wheel settle into you. On a shelf above the door, a small brass bell sits silent, its surface dull to a warm, soft gold. You lift it carefully, holding the clapper still, and feel the cool, satisfying weight of it in your palm. The metal is smooth, with a faint pattern pressed around its rim, half worn away. A loop of faded red cord hangs from its top, soft and fraying. It has rung for suppers and arrivals and quiet calls across the years, but now it makes no sound at all. There is nothing to summon tonight, no one to call. You set the bell back gently, clapper resting, and it keeps its silence, holding its quiet shine, while the dim room grows still, and the evening settles soft and deep. The dawn comes softly to the village green, where the dew lies thick and cool across the open grass. You cross it slowly, leaving a faint dark trail behind you, your footsteps the only marks upon the silvered ground. The old oak at the center stands vast and quiet, its broad leaves still in the windless air. Beneath it a wooden bench waits, beaded with moisture. The cottages around the green keep their windows dark, their occupants still wrapped in sleep. The sky above pales gently from charcoal to soft dove gray. You sit upon the damp bench and watch the light gather. Breathing the clean, cold air. letting the deep stillness of the hour hold you gently in its calm. From the church tower, if you climb the worn spiral stair, you come out upon the leads beneath the open sky. And tonight the whole moonlit country lies spread before you. The village rooftops cluster close below, silver and gray. Beyond, the patchwork fields stretch away to the dark hills. Picked out faintly by the moon. The river is a winding thread of light. No bell sounds. The great cold bells hang silent in the chamber beneath your feet. The night air is fresh and cool upon your face, and a soft wind moves over the parapet. You lean upon the ancient stone and gaze across the sleeping land, feeling wonderfully calm, wonderfully high, wonderfully removed from every small concern below. The snow gathers along the top of the long stone wall that runs the length of the village lane, building up in a smooth white ridge above the dark weathered stones. You walk slowly beside it, trailing a gloved hand near its snowy crest, watching the flakes settle one by one. Lichen and moss show dark beneath the white in patches, the marks of many quiet years. The lane curves gently ahead, growing paler with each falling flake. A wooden gate set into the wall wears its own soft cap of snow, leading into a garden gone still for the winter. The cold is mild, the night calm. You follow the wall at an easy pace, the snow soft underfoot, feeling the deep settled peace of the old lane wrap quietly around you. Down in the water meadow, where the grass grows soft and damp, a pair of mallards has paddled to the bank and settled among the sedge. They sit low on the cooling water near the shore, heads turned back, bills buried in the feathers of their backs. The stream slides past without a sound. Oh. see. You can imagine the ducks rocking gently where the current barely stirs, their feathers smooth and warm, their eyes long since shut. The meadow lies pale under the first stars, and the mallards drift in their shallow bay, safe and drowsy until the morning light returns. At the top of the hill, the windmill stands still against the last gold of the sky, its great sails motionless now that the day's grinding is done. You climb the gentle slope toward it, through grass gone soft and tawny, the low sun warm upon your back. The white-painted tower glows faintly amber, and the long sails throw their quiet shadows across the hillside. The miller's work is finished, the doors closed, and only the soft sigh of the evening breeze moves over the high open ground. Below, the village lies nestled in the valley. A few rooks drift homeward overhead. See you stand by the silent mill in the deepening light, soothed by the wide and peaceful quiet of the hilltop as the day gently ends. You sit on the deep windowsill of the old schoolhouse, long emptied for the evening. The rows of desks dim and silent behind you. Through the tall window, the last light fades over the village green, and a single star appears above the church tower. You have come here alone, drawn by the deep quiet of the place after the day's bustle. Dust motes hang still in the dying light. You remember sitting at one of these very desks as a child, the scratch of slate pencils, the warm afternoon hush. The memory rises softly and settles. Somewhere outside a dog barks once and falls quiet. You lean your head against the cool window frame and watch the dusk gather over the familiar green. Your thoughts as still and peaceful as the empty room. At the very edge of night, you stand in the meadow beyond the last cottage and watch the final glow drain from the western sky, gold to rose to a deep and tender gray. The village behind you has gone quiet, its lamps small and warm in the darkening blue. Bats stitch the dim air above the hedgerow. The grass is cool and dewy now round your feet, and the first owl calls long and low from the wood. Great calm settles over the land as the color fades and the stars come slowly out. You breathe the cool night air slowly and deeply, and you feel the day let go of you completely. The last of the daylight settles low over the village, turning the lane the color of warm honey. You walk slowly along the worn dirt path. Your shadow stretching long and soft beside the hedgerows. Dust drifts gently in the amber air, lifted by your unhurried steps and settling again like fine gold powder. Somewhere, a wooden gate creaks once and grows still. The thatched roofs hold the day's heat, and the whitewashed walls glow faintly as the sun lowers behind the orchard. A few light bees move lazily among the asters at the verge. Everything here moves at the pace of an exhale, slow and certain, and the evening seems content simply to linger a while longer with you. In the loft above the barn, the hay lies deep and golden in the soft, dim light. You climb the worn wooden ladder slowly and rest among the sweet, dry stalks, breathing the warm, dusty fragrance. A thin beam of dawn light enters through a crack in the gable end, catching the slow drift of chaff in the air. Below, the animals shift and murmur in their stalls. A low and comfortable sound. Doves coo gently somewhere in the eaves above you. The hay is soft and warm beneath you, and the morning is cool and quiet beyond the walls. You lie still in the golden dimness, breathing slow, and feel a deep and drowsy peace gather softly all around you. Its clay pitcher stands on the washstand, its glaze crazed into a fine net of tiny lines, like frost on a window. You lay your hand against its rounded belly and feel it cool. A chip on the spout has worn soft over the years, no longer sharp at all. The handle fits your fingers as if it had been shaped for them, curving easily into the palm. Beside it, a folded towel waits, soft and thick, smelling faintly of soap and lavender. Nothing splashes, nothing pours. The pitcher only sits in the dim, holding its still water, while the last gray light slides slowly down the wall, and the small room grows quieter, quieter still. Now, there is only the quiet and your slow breath within it. The lamps have gone out, the village is dark. The night lies deep and kind across the sleeping land. Let yourself rest. Let your body grow heavy and warm, your thoughts grow soft and distant, your breathing slow until it carries you gently down toward sleep. There's nothing to do tonight but let go. Feel the peace all around you, holding you safely in the dark. With each gentle breath, drift a little further from waking. Till you slip quietly into a long and untroubled sleep. Rest well now.